Welcome back to Ready, Set, Sold. Thank you so much for joining us this 4-day holiday weekend. Hope you're having a fantastic Saturday, and I hope you've had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I know we did. Yes, I know I say a little wink, wink there. We haven't had it quite yet. But actually, on our way over here to the radio program, we talked in depth about the foods that we were going to have, right? And we made decisions if we liked that food or not.
Now I need lunch, yes.
Yes, lunch is good. I think the other part about that, too, is we had a split vote 2-3 on that we didn't want stovetop stuffing. We're not going into there. Yeah, we're not getting into that direction. Who was proposing to have that? Okay, but we did agree that maybe wasn't the best way to go. But that's okay if you have it. Hey, whatever you want to have for the holidays, it's all good because it's the food, but it's family gatherings, and that's really
a fellowship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fellowship, and that's really important. So that's what actually I still love about Thanksgiving is the fact is that. They haven't been able to commercialize it as much as Halloween and Christmas. Not that Christmas and Halloween don't have their own meetings behind them, more so Christmas. Mm-hmm. But Thanksgiving, you get turkey sales, I guess, you get cranberry sales, but you don't really have
the Black Friday sales.
Well, Black Friday sales, but that's after Thanksgiving. I know they're trying to push that up. They got Cyber Mondays and they got all this other stuff, but that's usually after the fact. Anyway, what we've been talking about is the reasons to be on the market now. And again, the only reason why you don't want to be on the market is simply that you haven't decided to move, and that's okay. Other than that, we're giving you the reasons why you should be considering putting your house on the market. Talk to a professional realtor, somebody you know, like, and trust, and see what that would look like. And do a CMA, which is a cost market analysis, basically based on your location, and giving you some pricing and get the ball rolling. One of the things we come up with quite a bit is weather. And it's one of those situations where we've lived here all of our lives, or I know I've lived here all my lives, but you guys, Kelly and Kathy, have lived here long enough, okay? 20 plus years, so you know the weather. Mm-hmm. And we always were talking the first time we were talking about white Christmases that we hardly ever get. Mm-hmm. Well, the fact of the matter is this time of year, we don't get that bad of weather.
No.
Right.
Okay. You never know.
You never know, but for the most part, it could be, I have played golf in December at Clinton Hills. Again, you don't know, and sometimes you have some inclement weather, but the weather usually isn't going to be a factor, and sometimes sellers, again, kind of throw that out there saying, well, they could have this or they could have that as far as, snowstorms or getting brutally cold. There's exceptions with everything. Mm-hmm. Again, Kathy, I know you're from Chicago.
Right.
So we don't really know what cold is, do we?
Absolutely not.
So like I said, is everything's relative. So I think weather should not be a factor. And in most cases, we don't see it to be a weather issue. The other thing, too, is the schools. Is that sometimes that sellers say, well, my kids are in school and I can't move because no one else wants to move their kids and I don't want to move my kids. And Kelly, I know you've had some experience in moving, haven't you?
Yeah, I moved every 8 months to 12 months growing up. My father was in a career where he was transferred every 8 to 12 months. And, I contribute my love of homes and houses to that moving. I got to see so many. I'm not the only kid out there that's had to do that. It also gave me the ability to talk to anyone and make friends with anyone. So it's not, it's not an all bad thing.
Well, you make a good point, too, and I've seen studies, and I think that bears it out, that number one, depending on price points, for example, if you have a new, basically what we call a new buyer's home, maybe something in the 100 to low 100s, high 150s, 180s or lower, somewhere on that range, you could be a first-time home buyer's house. Well, guess what? Many times their kids are very, very small, or they may have just started, having children, or maybe they don't have any children at all. So that's not going to be an issue. If you're in the higher brackets, well, the high schools are so large. O'Fallon covers Shiloh, parts of even Fairview, parts of... Right. There's just so much. Belleville East, Edwardsville covers Carbon. Waterloo, is Columbia. All these things kind of come into play with high schools. That's not usually a factor either. And as you mentioned also, and I've seen studies on this, where it says that it's not the kids that have the adjustment. It's usually the parents.
It's the parents, yeah.
You know, we kind of build in our little things, and we're maybe not quite as open and kind, and not that we're mean, but that we're not always as open.
Set in your ways.
Set in your ways. I love that, Kelly. That's a good point. And so that makes it be a little bit harder for us to make friends, and it's not near this issue that with our kids. So those are two of the things that actually come up, and we hear that a lot. Let me also repeat also, unless you don't want to move, then this is still a great time to move for the reasons we talked about already. That is, it is a seller's market right now. Again, I don't remember the last time I could actually say seller's market in November. It doesn't mean that you couldn't sell the house. It just wasn't really that strong of a market. We have that now. We've talked about the weather, and that doesn't have a factor, much to play with it. The schools, again, doesn't have the same factors. What you're going to be getting for your house, typically it's going to be very similar to what the last 3 months was. So again, that could be right now in November, you're already into August monies, and those are still going to be top dollar. Depending on every situation, there's no guarantees that you're going to get everything your way. Everybody knows that, but your chances are still very good. I think the other part of that I want to stress is that not only do you have the buyers, but we have the military factor in the Metro East. And the military are constantly moving. And no, they don't always buy houses if they have a short period of time, 8 months or 12 months. But many times they are coming in November, in this time of year, and they are desperate to try and get some housing. And they want to get in there as soon as possible. So that affects the entire Metro East, not only O'Fallon, Mascoutah, but there are people that will go to the military, will go to Edwardsville, they will go to Columbia, they will go to Belleville. All those areas are in play. With that said, I want to let everybody know that there's different ways you can get a hold of us. When I say hold of us and listen to the program, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Play, you can listen to a segment of it. So if you missed maybe the first part of this segment, you can go back and check that out, or maybe you missed part of this segment. So it's designed to either be listen to the whole show, or you can listen to separate segments that you may have missed. With that said, I'm going to be coming back with the tip of the week. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to Ready, Set, Soul with Bryan Vogt, and I've been talking with Kelly Etheridge and Kathy Popovich. Talk soon.